Welcome to the In Pursuit of Luxury podcast. I'm Shaun Borstrock. On today's episode, I'm joined by Jane Caujolle, who is the founder and CEO of Townhouse, a London and Geneva-based private office established in 2013. A graduate of École Hôtelière de Lausanne, she began her career with Gordon Ramsay, before moving into private client service, supporting a principal across international residences and complex lifestyle operations. Through Townhouse, Jane has translated the discipline of private service into a refined, service-led company built on exacting standards and long-term trust. Working closely with international, ultra-high net worth clients, she and her team oversee relocations, private household operations, and global lifestyle, travel, and advisory services across residences worldwide. She ensures every detail, seen and unseen, is delivered with consistency and care. Jane believes true luxury is defined by how one is made to feel and remains focused on preserving the craftsmanship of service, where anticipation, emotional intelligence, and genuine human connection define excellence. Jane Caujolle, welcome to the In Pursuit of Luxury podcast.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then tell me why you do it.
As you said, my name is Jane. I am the founder and co-CEO of Townhouse, founded 13 years ago next week. We are a London and Geneva-based private office working for ultra-high net worth international clients. We support them as they establish and enjoy their lives in London, from the property search and then the onward stewardship of their large residences in London. And we complement our services with lifestyle and travel management.
Brilliant. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And so tell me why do you do it?
Why do I do it? First of all, I'm fascinated by their lives. I like people. I know it's going to sound quite corny, but I like to make people feel special. I come from a background of luxury hospitality. Previously to doing what I was doing, I was chief of staff for a private principal, so I was working on the client side. And I left after a number of years, founded Townhouse on the belief that this kind of clientele was perhaps under-serviced in London, or perhaps there was space for somebody to make their lives easier. But really, I've never been asked that question. So it really kind of puts me on the spot.
But that's a good question.
It is it's a very good question. I tend to be naturally solution driven, quite emotionally intelligent with my clients, and I think, in the world that we operate, I think tending to our clients, and I think we're here today, it's in the pursuit of luxury and what is luxury? And I think all too often people that work in our sphere tend to think of the glitz or the glam or the expensive things, and often it's anything but that. These kind of enhance the clients' lives and they're great, but I think I became naturally good at what I did, and the clients always came to me find me that, the amazing villa in Sardinia, or find me that special place to go for dinner tonight because I want to treat my wife, or help me find that perfect house in London. And I think I was good at what I did because I understood them. Right. I understand what makes them tick. I understand what's going to make a difference, and it's not only the beautiful, lovely things. Often it's the details.
So tell me then just about kind of the structure, because you were talking about, so you manage a family in effect.
Multiple. So now I have a team of 13 and somebody in Geneva as well. Yeah. So we have just shy of 20.
Yeah.
And our clients are living full-time in North America, South America, and Saudi Arabia.
So you manage multiple families around the world, South America, America.
And Saudi Arabia, that's where their home jurisdictions are. And we help them, whether it's when they come to London for a few years or whether they decide to buy a secondary residence here, we help them from the initial property search, complex home setups, staffing, vehicles, everything you need to be kind of really, really happy and settled here in London, and then do lifestyle and travel for them.
Right. So again, that's quite a lot. Travel agents used to be called travel agents. Yep. Now they're called travel designers. What is that?
Well, wouldn't you prefer to have your holiday made by a travel designer rather than a travel agent? It's just vocabulary. It just makes you feel better.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, because there was an event here at Henry's Townhouse not that long ago, and I met my first travel designer, which I'd never heard the term before, but it seems to be quite a popular, well, it's a thing now.
It is a thing. I think there's also, the differentiation, whether a travel agent, they kind of sell bulk and in mass and kind of set itineraries, where really a travel designer will listen to where you want to go and build a really bespoke itinerary and some unique experiences. I guess in a way you're a little bit of a travel designer with what, the experiences that you've put together.
Yeah, interesting. So tell us about this, what is quite, I'm sure, quite a complex world you inhabit, by having to navigate the demands of people who expect kind of the best of everything.
They expect the best. I think they expect it delivered in a very seamless and efficient way. I think that's where we do things differently. It's not just about the best trip or the best jet or the best pillow or the best piece of furniture. It's about also from the point that they come to you and they want, you just use the word a trip, they decide they would like to go to the Amalfi Coast this summer. It's about knowing the right places to go, knowing the general manager at the hotel, knowing exactly the best suites with the best view, knowing the best way to get there, knowing the hidden gems, and delivering it very quickly and very seamlessly, and asking few questions.
Right. So, I mean, scenario, I want to go to the Amalfi Coast, and then all I do is I arrive, I'll be at my house, and then all I do is I get into the car which you've arranged. I get out of the car, potentially on a private jet, through the special wing, I don't know, at Heathrow or a Biggin Hill, wherever it might be. I get off the jet on the other side. I'm either taken by car or helicopter to the Belmont or whatever the hotel is in.
Would you like to come and work for me?
Yeah.
Sounds like you've done it before.
Yeah, there you go. I get off, and then, I'm taken to my suite, my dinner's arranged, my day on the yacht or 2 days on the yacht's arranged with the kind of a private chef, and I don't have to do anything. My clothes are unpacked when I arrive at the hotel. My clothes are unpacked when and so I don't really see anything, because you have taken care of everything.
And sometimes we've done it so seamlessly, and as you rightly put, it's felt so effortless that people don't often realise the amount of work that goes in to making things appear so seamless, in the amount of work and the large teams that operate in the darkness and in the back. Yeah,
but give us just, if you can, give us a bit of insight into what that scenario looks like.
Well, for example, you took the Amalfi Coast. Taking a live example, last summer we organised a trip for one of our multi-generational Middle Eastern families who wanted to, and we know them so well. We've been working with them for a few years, so the brief was simply, we would like to escape for a few days in the summer to Scotland. That's the brief we have. The advantage of having worked for them for a few years, having helped them acquire houses, knowing their staff, we really know what's important for them, what makes them happy, less happy, and what will be special. The first point is us internally speaking to each other and saying, okay, well, what's new in Scotland? What's special? What will fit such a multi-gen family? What kind of staffing structures do these places have? Will they be able to tend to their needs? And then we narrowed it down to a few estates, to a few private estates. And we finally chose the Glenafric estate owned by the Matthews family in the Highlands. We then physically, two of us go out there and do a recce, spend time with the managing team on site, with the groundsman, look at every single room and suite in detail, speak with the chefs, speak with the team, speak with the property managers, and really try and make sure that this estate will match their requirements operationally, and that the team will understand the client and be able to ensure a fabulous stay. We then presented two options to the family. Working with us, they know that either option we present will suit. They ended up picking the Glenafric estate, and then we spent the best part of, I would say, at least 7 full working days over the course of a few weeks preparing for their stay. And that's everything from as you rightly put, the moment they leave their house, so ensuring we have the right amount of vehicles picking them up, that the luggage has been sent by road a few days before so that it's unpacked in the right rooms, ready for their arrivals. The menus have been discussed with the chefs. An amount of flexibility has been also ensured by the team, that we have a fantastic schedule of activities, but they have to be flexible to change and adapt to the clients. We've described every single member of the family to the team on site, so they know exactly who's arriving, everybody's preferences, likes, dislikes, characters. Yeah. We've really thought of plans A, B, C, and D, and backups. And then, so the vehicles are there picking them up, bring them to they didn't want to fly, bring them to the station. We've had train carriages privatised for them, with activities in there for the children. It's a 4.5-hour trip to Edinburgh. We had then worked with the Balmoral Hotel there to pick them up from the station and host them there for the evening with a lovely kind of Scottish-themed welcome dinner that first evening. Then we had onward vehicles the next day with a stop in the countryside. This is a large group that we had had a fabulous lunch hosted on an estate to kind of break up the trip. Then they arrived at the Glenafric estate. There was bagpipes on arrival, little turn-down gifts, specialised, really not specialised, personalised in every bedroom on arrival. I mean, and this goes on daily, every day, from stalking on one day, Highland games on the beach one day, wild picnics. Everything has been thought through meticulously, but for it to feel like an easy family holiday for them. But again, the amount of work and preparation that goes in is huge, and also the importance of the team on site is exceptional. And they had a fabulous stay, and the take back from them wasn't that they thought the size of the rooms was great, or the quality of the linens, because these people are used to that wherever they go and kind of expect it. But the take back from them was the service, that they felt that the service was exceptional, and the team there made them feel really special, and made it feel effortless. And little things like, said, well, what's the one take back? What was your favourite moment? And it wasn't the fireworks on. Somebody had a birthday, we could organise fireworks one night, and a ceilidh dance, and they said, we felt. We were made to feel so special and listened to. It was slightly cold one night, and they were walking back to the estate, and she told he told his wife, "Oh, it's a bit chilly. cup of hot chocolate would be lovely. But, in conversation, like anything. And somebody from the staff had overheard that, and as they entered the lodge, somebody was there with a flask of hot chocolate ready to pour. So, it was only a duration of 5 days, but the amount of work and effort put in, from our teams, from the estate teams, from us knowing our clients, to the minute detail, a huge amount of work goes in.
Yeah.
But that's our craft, yeah.
Well, exactly. Oh, interesting that you call it a craft.
It is. We don't build beautiful furniture or weave incredible fabrics, but I think it is a craft. I think, as I said, I'm studied luxury hospitality in Switzerland. A lot of our team is ex-luxury hospitality, and we're in the world of service. But I still very much think it's a craft. It's certainly a passion. You work very hard. But yeah, we're in the business of making people feel special, and I think everybody on the team enjoys that, and that's really what drives them. And it might seem, a little corny or a bit silly, but I think people in hospitality are driven by that.
Yeah, and that's interesting, because I think over the past probably 20 or 30 years, what we've seen is that there are less and less younger people who want to go into hospitality and be in the service industry. So it's like you used to have a cordon bleu chef, or you used to have waiters and people in restaurants who had trained for years on how to wait, and that was their skill.
Yeah, and it was a pride as well. There was a pride to it. Yeah, there was a pride, and we have a fabulous team which all take pride in that, and we're lucky enough that our clients come to us and value us because we provide that craft, and that's from travel designing, which is always fun, and these recce's are great, and they're great fun, but at the outset of the relationship, when we're helping clients find the right home here in London and setting it up, again, that is a craft. We've recently relocated a North American family into a beautiful London home, but the same care goes into that, from the shipment of their belongings, getting to know the clients, the design of their home, to pick of the right linen, to the right cups being purchased and in cupboard, to the flowers being set out, to the hiring teams. It's the best compliments we get, when these clients arrived and all they've had to travel over is just that, their handbags, and they arrive to a home where suddenly magically they open their cupboards and their clothes have been decanted and put in, and their favourite brand of coffee is in the cupboard, and the uniforms have been purchased and name tags sewed in to, their favourite brand of hand wash having been purchased, and it feels seamless, and they tell us it feels like, it's magic.
But how do you know all that? You're having to have conversations with them. You're talking about hand wash, you're talking about coffee. That's serious relationship building, because there's a lot of personal information that is being disclosed to you guys in order for that family to feel that they are being taken care of when they arrive at their new house.
So some information, you have to be discussed, but I think you also have to be, in every conversation you have with a client, there are so many cues you can pick. You can pick on. I like to go and visit clients at home. So whether that's in Madrid, in New York, or if there's time, I will, at the start of a relationship, I'll go and visit them at home. And you can, just by being in their space, there's so much you can go
to the bathroom.
That's the exactly. Go to the, speaking with the staff without asking to disclose information, but just just being here and seeing that you have drunk green tea. I don't know why I remember these things, but I do, and I'll never forget that.
And I've only just started drinking green tea.
So you like it cool, you like it room
coffee.
temperature.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because it's not good to drink hot tea.
There you go.
Yeah.
But, picking up on, there's so much you can pick up on just by being with a client, listening to them, speaking with the staff, interacting.
Like being a detective.
And it is, and it's not about just that kind of robotic way of having a questionnaire and saying, so what, people don't like that. And then by being aware and listening and looking and being aware of the surroundings, I said, every interaction is an opportunity to intake more information.
Yeah, but what's too much? Because I'm thinking, if it were me, I just wondered how I'd respond to that level of service. What's too much for a client?
We adapt to the level of service that they like. Sometimes there are some cultural differences, not differences, but some. So let's say our Saudi clients are used to service. It is a country which, as a people, service is there.
Yeah.
As it is in the States, people appreciate service, are happy to pay for service. As it is in South America, I would say Europe may be a little less, which is why we have no European clients. Recently acquired a British one, but that's an anomaly. They tend to be not more private people. Some of our clients are very private. But just less reliant on service and perhaps less used to it. But we adapt to our clients. If they see that they like the service line to stop there, we will stop there. We adapt, and it's also about a service that needs to feel seamless and natural and unobtrusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? This might be a stupid question. Do you have to all sign NDAs?
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. What's the most outlandish request you've ever had?
I often get asked that, and I really wish I had some insane stories to tell you. But it's two things. Either we have them so much and every day that they're no longer outlandish to me, so they don't.
Right.
So they don't really. I don't. Yeah, I remember them that much. A lot I can't disclose. I think our clients, with all of their wealth and the access they have, don't necessarily have outlandish requests. I think the requests just tend to be incredibly last minute. So you have to, often act, act at the last minute. They tend to be very super time sensitive, super last minute.
Well, that's outlandish in itself.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. So for me, there's an element of, I think what is luxury? That's obviously your field, but our clients have got vast amounts of wealth, and I never sit there and envy the wealth, because you see that with wealth comes responsibility. It's actually expensive to have wealth. You have to have advisors and staff and that. It's a lot. It's a lot. But the only thing I do envy them is the lack of forward planning.
Right.
The fact that you can wake up on a Friday morning and suddenly look at the weather forecast, and I don't know, for whatever reason you feel happy that day, and you can tell your friends, well, why don't we go to the Amalfi Coast or to Paris for lunch, or the Amalfi Coast for the weekend, or why don't I go skiing? Suddenly, the snow has stopped in the Alps. Let's just go skiing for the day tomorrow. That I would love. I would love no forward planning, and just be able to enjoy the moment. And So the outlandish requests come because of that. They can just wake up one day
and just do what they want.
Just do what they want.
Yeah. But it's interesting. It's like pop stars have their rider, and it's like, I don't know. There was the stories about Mariah Carey wanting petal leaves kind of thrown on the floor as she walked, and then into a room that was air conditioned at 21 degrees and white kind of roses and just, this, that, and the other. It doesn't sound like they like that.
No, and so we no, they're not like that at all. They tend to be I think just they're people just like you and me. They just have more wealth and more access, but it doesn't make them request that kind of things. Often we feel, we've had some LA entertainment clients in the past, and we feel that some of that is very much created by their teams. And when you actually speak to the artist,
no, and I think that's quite a common thing.
Yeah, they're just absolutely normal, and they're just like you and me. And sometimes I wonder, were these riders made just to give somebody a job?
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, because you just so much of it you don't really know.
Yeah.
And more often than others, when you're dealing with a lot of people who are either super famous or super wealthy, it's the people that are behind them who are the most demanding.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, no, and that's, I suppose that's their kind of power that they can yield.
Yeah, exactly, and it justifies their salaries and their presence, and or maybe that's just the way they have fun as well.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you never, you never know. And what about this this idea of experience? Because we've spoken about experience before. Because that's what you're providing. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it?
I'd never thought about it that way, but yes, as a result, that's from the everyday experience of, from the point, you're arriving into London and into a new city, new place, new house, and it feeling like, house and your belongings have been there forever. That is an experience. That is an experience in itself. There's been a lot in the press lately, from the FT to the economists, about the ultra high net worth today spending more on experiences, things that make them feel special, creating moments, whether that's because they have access to so much material things that, or whether that's because, with the increase of our world being entirely digital, the non-tangible elements that are left to make them feel anything is down to experiences. And that's where we can also make a difference as people, with the rise of tech and digital and the amount of beautiful things that surround us. The rise of experiences, and also, they're created by people, and that comes down to, I think, the basics of who we are as human beings.
Yeah, it's interesting about that. The point you've raised about how much stuff can you have, and when you've got access to so much stuff,
it stops meaning anything. And also, you can collect thousands of pieces of beautiful jewelry or clothes, but the beauty about an experience, and maybe that's why it's so special, is that it's gone. You enjoy it in the moment. You can't catalogue it. You can't have a collection of them. And that's maybe why people crave them again, because they can't just stock it somewhere and look at it. They've felt it, and they just want to go back to that feeling. But there are some, and that's great about what we do. That's, as I said, experiences are created by people, and we love connecting with people that help us create those experiences, and whether that's through travel, whether that's through craft, artisanry.
Do you think, and this might be controversial, do they care about the environment, your clients? Because if they're flying around the world and, private jets, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, or whatever the cars that they've got, do you get a sense that they are concerned about the environment, or?
I think some of them, like some of the everyday people, care about the environment, and some not. But some are very caring of people, the environment, are hugely philanthropic, social causes. Some of them give back a huge amount. But do they continue to take planes because they live between London and New York? They do. But they give back, not just financially, not just, writing a check and to make them feel better, actually doing and contributing to various causes.
Because the other thing that I don't know, maybe fascinates me is that people who don't have that amount of money, so not the billionaires, but potentially aspiring millionaires and millionaires, have this desire to constantly show their wealth, and are always buying stuff, and are always traveling, and that's might be a different kind of way of showing your status through consumption. And then I was wondering, so with your clients who are not aspiring millionaires or millionaires, they're at a level beyond that. I just wonder if kind of being much more showy with their wealth is something that they do, or they're much more discreet with it. Because you have the old wealth, new wealth.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. So about being discreet, they have substantially large homes and they sometimes travel in private jets. You can't hide that.
No, of course.
But they're very hospitable. Our clients tend to be incredibly hospitable, incredibly generous.
Yeah.
So they will show their wealth not necessarily by having blingy things, but by
their actions.
By their actions, by hosting, by caring, by inviting, by it's that thing of having a Laura Piana jumper. You can't see the brand, but when you know, or having a t-shirt blazer and
with Balenciaga on it.
Yeah.
No, but those. I mean, you get those people.
You get those people, and it's. One day when somebody had said to me, I think you get to that level where, and I understand that, you've worked really, really, really hard, and you get to that sudden extra level of wealth, and you do want to buy a Louis Vuitton suitcase because you felt you worked really hard, and you've achieved that, and you want to buy, and it's for you, but it says Louis Vuitton everywhere, but I think, and it's a beautiful suitcase, and it's fabulous, and then you get to a level above that when you would never spend that on a suitcase because you would never pull a suitcase.
Yeah.
You have staff who pull your suitcase.
Yeah.
So as a result, the suitcases of our clients are...
they could be simple and expensive.
No, because they're just suitcases.
Yeah.
And they are not pulled or carried by
them. Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's it. I mean, they're different worlds, aren't they?
But no, you can see their wealth from where they live in beautiful homes, and they have second homes, and but they show their wealth to their friends and family by being hospitable. Their wealth is shown by being philanthropic.
Yeah.
So you can see it. You can't hide it. But shown in different ways.
Yeah, because I went into Mont Blanc the other day to get I had my pen serviced, which nearly cost the same as buying a new pen. Or I could have bought 500 other pens. In any event, I went in there and this guy walked in and he was wearing a hoodie and kind of torn shorts, and I think there were some Converse sneakers. Yeah. And he walked in and he bought two £15,000 pens, and it was just like. Yeah, so you get those,
We have some of those. We have those clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also, I think that's kind of a life lesson. You never know who you're talking to.
No.
So never assume somebody is somebody by how they look or how they're spoken. You don't know.
No, exactly. You never, never make an assumption.
Yeah.
But then, do they think of themselves as living a luxury lifestyle? Or do they? They do.
No, they do. I think they do. They're very aware.
Yeah.
Very aware of it, but very comfortable with it. So they're aware.
And are the kids aware? I mean, because
it's next generations. That's a whole other topic.
Right. Okay.
Next generations a whole other topic. And we see, there are a variety, and I think being a next generation, I always think must be very difficult in different aspects. You could be the next generation and have parents who are entirely self-made, and I always think they're quite in a difficult spot. You know, they have these incredibly successful parents that are self-made, and they feel everybody's looking at them. They have high expectations to be set against, and they're difficult spots to be in. You have generational wealth that's just passed on from one generation to the next, and they've always lived in a certain level of comfort, and it can be difficult to often working very hard is driven by the need to earn, to pay your mortgage or buy a house, and without that need, can you be driven? I think they're just driven by passions. Maybe it doesn't sound right to say they're in a difficult spot because they have all of the comforts and education they could ever possibly want, but they're coming after whether it's dynasties or very well-to-do parents or very successful, and they just have everybody looks at them and they've got expectations to meet. So it's not always easy for them.
No, and I guess I mean there's always an assumption that if you've got loads of money, everything's going to be okay.
No.
I mean that is
it isn't.
Yeah,
it isn't. I think people we're all. I think I always say people are people. That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean they're that wealthy that they don't have problems, or that they don't have anxiety issues or confidence issues or trust issues. Think like everybody else, and mental health is a big thing today. They're not spared by those issues. It's I saw this. I was just thinking. I saw this thing on Instagram the other day where this guy was saying, if you come into wealth, don't tell anybody. Don't tell your best friends. Don't spend the money quickly. Don't show it. Just keep it, and then don't even invest it quickly. Take time. Keep it in a bank account, but never tell anybody. Don't tell family, friends, anybody. It really distorts. I think it really distorts. It can distort relationships. And if I play the lottery on a weekly basis, and I have for 20 years. I've never won more than £8.50, but I continue playing. It's going to be my turn soon. But I would never tell my children.
No, and also interesting that people are so many people are so. I know, I mean, as I'm sure you do, people are so driven by money. That's their luxury is they're being driven by making more and more and more money.
It's that thing where it's never enough. Because you could have just been renting and suddenly you earn enough to buy a 2-bedroom house, and then you want more because you want that 5-bedroom house, and then you want more because you want to buy a secondary house in Tuscany, and then you want more because you don't have that chalet in Courchevel, and then you've been able to buy a certain brand, and then you want more because you had a Louis Vuitton, and you want more because you want Hermes, and then it's just, and it never ends. It never stops. So just don't start.
No, and that's the thing that always, I suppose, that intrigues me, is that people think that just kind of having more and more money is the answer to the questions, because ultimately you can have more and more stuff. I
think you're stuck in a cycle, because once you buy that secondary house in Tuscany, you need to staff, and then running a house and staff is really expensive, so you need to earn more to be able to afford more, and then you're stuck in a cycle.
You just cycle. Well, if you have a yacht or a plane, I mean, to maintain a yacht in a year is like close to £1 million probably, with staffing and petrol and docking and whatever.
They're colossal. But I mean, I'm grateful that there are people that want more and more, and people very wealthy, or I'd be out of a job.
No, but I think, I mean, that's the kind of this construct of society.
And it doesn't look like it's about to stop, because we're constantly fed, whether it's on social media or in magazines, you're constantly fed the next best thing. I think even from brands that used to have maybe just a winter and a summer collection, now are running 12 collections. I think every industry is just throwing more at you. The prices are getting more expensive. Richard Mille watches over a million. Over
millions.
a million.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was chatting to Julian Fogel earlier, and we were talking about Instagram and kind of this digital age. And, there are these guys in, one particular guy I saw in China who just walked into a shop and bought £2 million watches like he was going to buy a kind of bar of chocolate.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything anymore. And then more is being produced. And so I don't know if we're stuck in a crazy spiral that will just explode at one point.
No, I think you're right. But I think within the why this conversation is so interesting is because they're not these people. Granted, they're wealthy, and that's fine. But what's kind of interesting is that you are providing something so specialized for these people that kind of personifies this notion of craftsmanship for me, because you're providing something that it's the unseen.
It is the unseen.
Which is that the luxury?
So for me, that is perhaps the epitome of luxury when you can afford that.
Yeah. But it doesn't even have to cost money, actually, just thinking about it. Because if you're thinking about this idea of luxury being the unseen and the craftsman, so you, the craftsman, it could be somebody who's making something. So their understanding of the materials, their understanding of the process. So you might see something at the end of it, but it's what you don't see which provides you with the end result.
Absolutely, and that's not only about what we do, I guess, but it's across a lot of other fields.
Yeah.
And that's what takes time, experience, knowledge, and that's why whether it's a product or a service, it's expensive.
Yeah, but not always expensive though, is it? It depends what you're providing at the end of it. But if you were providing that service, I don't know, if you were making a cake, for example, it's a similar kind of service because it's your expertise.
Absolutely, but I would hope that I would get a cake made by somebody who's an expert cake maker.
I can make you a cake. I'm good at baking.
I'm rubbish.
So when we have our event here at the townhouse, I will make a cake.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wonder how many people think of luxury in that context.
But I think luxury goes back to being, as I said, about people and humans, because I think AI and technology is great. It's built efficiencies, it's reduced administrative costs, etc., and it will continue to do so. And the efficiencies and speed it brings is fabulous. But nothing beats. I think this conversation is going back to nothing quite beats what the human can do. Not to beat AI. It's not a comparison. But when it is a cake made by whether it's an expert cake, whether it's by yourself, or I don't know, an expert cake maker who has worked, across some fabulous bakers across the world, and found that she's met with matcha cake. She's picked the perfect matcha from Japan and took that recipe from XYZ and bought the ingredients, at the market at the weekend. And then built the cake in your favourite shape and decorated it with whatever it is.
Sure.
But that's people. I think people do that. And I think the cost of people will be more and more expensive. And I think that's why I'm happy not to be in the field of tech, but in the people field. Because I think that's what might be what people will still continue. I'm in a field of work where I think we're only going to get more and more demand rather than less.
Yeah. And how has AI or tech impacted on you and your work?
So it's been hugely helpful as back of house efficiencies. We have had a tech platform built for us back of house to manage, to manage everything that we do. So it's really reduced the administration time on our team, and now our team can really have focused more of their time on clients. So so for us, that's the efficiencies for us, just in terms of making sure the team spend more time with clients rather than admin.
Have you ever tried travel design? Is it travel designer? Yeah. Have you ever tried travel design using AI? Have you ever kind of prompted, said, could you design me a holiday for?
No.
I wonder what that would be like.
So I read an article about it. I think, was it in the FT perhaps?
Maybe.
Last year? Yeah, there was an article about it. I can't remember what a weekend press it was, where somebody had gone out to ask, I think, chat that very question, and saying, all in all, it was she had quite a successful.
Right.
All in all, it was more successful than not. What we do for our clients is also a lot of insider knowledge through insider contacts we've built, people whose clients going to the Amalfi Coast and they're looking for a special castle to rent out. That ChatGPT wouldn't be able to find that. That's from inside connections that we have, or clients arriving into London and they want us to find them a home in Marylebone. That's these are all things that are through personal connections and who are off market and out of the realms of reach of ChatGPT.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I think the world's become obsessed with AI, and many people are losing jobs because it's easier to just prompt. Even I was reading, that funding applications you could just use kind of AI, because it's getting better at writing funding applications. People are writing books, people, writing music. But there's, designers are losing jobs. Many kind of advertising agency or even companies are not using advertising agencies because they're taking everything in-house and doing it on their own. But I still think, which is what you've just said, is that a human is a better designer because they understand.
They understand and they see the end client. I think obviously with the help of these tools, and what I hope the next generations won't succumb to is losing faith in their own, or losing trust in their own critical thinking and judgment, and falling back on asking these AI tools what they think. I think that they should be used as helpful research, and there are loads of things they'll be great at, but I hope that the next generations won't be asking them for their judgment. Should I go for A or for B? I hope that people will still continue to think, using the research from these fabulous resources, but using their own judgment, because whether it's they know the client, and also, it's also fun to make a decision.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, it's interesting. I interviewed 3 people there were more than 3 people for a job not that long ago, and 3 of them gave virtually the same answer to the question in the application, and it's just like that, but it's like, how do you respond to that?
I think people stop believing that they know the answer. They might just take them an extra few seconds to think, or to believe, or to come. But it's like, I want to know what you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me about your staff. Where are they trained? Do you train them? Kind of how long are they training for?
So the vast majority come from the field of luxury hospitality.
Yeah.
As I said, they have a passion for hospitality, for service, and that I can't teach somebody. I think you naturally have it or you don't. People who work in that field also tend to be solution-driven, quick thinkers, will have been used to working with the kind of clients that for our clients, know their world, know how they operate. They were also well-travelled, usually have worked across the globe, and come from a variety of different nationalities. So we have Italians, British, Americans. Hong Kong, French, Austrians.
Wow. That's quite an international family.
Swiss, French.
Yeah.
It is. I think we also have to make sure that there's enough of a pool of different people to make sure that, we have language requirements for clients as well. Our clients come from across the globe, so we need to make sure we have a team that can support them, that will, we need to be well-travelled. We need to cover the globe and within our little team.
Yeah. And do they stay with you for a long time? Or is it...
So historically, we had people that stayed with us for a long time. And I think COVID slightly broke that because our team is international. During COVID, the Europeans all went back home, and I think that was the case. A lot of businesses. So we had departures during COVID, and then because our team also was heavily European, Brexit and COVID was a double whammy.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a bit tough for us. So we've had to kind of rebuild the team since then. We're also adapting to newer generations who tend to be to move just more naturally. They tend to be less loyal to companies. We have to adapt and create, make sure that we're a happy and pleasant working environment. We have to make sure that they can continue developing their careers with us, that we're giving them enough exposure and development and learning opportunities to stay with us. But we're a small team, we're 13. We try and do as much as we can. We try and adapt. We've recently hired a new HR director to really look at well-being and development, and because our business really relies on our account managers being with us long term. The clients don't like a lot of movement and change, but COVID and Brexit have been tough on us.
Right. So what's next for you? I mean, do you expand? Do you stay the same? I mean,
so we'll never be a mass. We'll never be a kind of a mass market service. Clients come to us because we are small. And we have a bespoke and personal feel, and it also enables us to stay really flexible. But yes, we would like to grow. We have a small office, very small structure in Geneva. We would like to grow. We would like to double in size in terms of client portfolios that we manage. In the next few years, who knows?
Yeah. But I mean, there are many more. The wealth divide is growing. Many more people becoming much more wealthy around the world. So there's the opportunity, isn't there?
There is, and it's that question of how do you retain quality in service and your kind of DNA, why clients came to you in the first place, and that flexibility with growth, and that's kind of finding the magic recipe to that to make sure we grow organically, but in we're ambitious. But retain our DNA.
Okay. The question I ask everyone when I end the chat is, what is your luxury?
Travel, food, and wine.
Oh, perfect.
So again, experiences. It's travel, treating the family. I've got 3 kids, ranging from 23 to 10. So going to keep going on some fabulous trips as a family of 5. This summer we are self-driving through Namibia. We've gone to Vietnam and taken the train, trained and moped it down the entire coast, enjoying some fabulous food. And I said wine before, but it's actually champagne.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
So I'm not less of a material person. More experiences with my loved ones, and that's
brilliant.
That's me.
Brilliant, Jane Caujolle. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Jane for joining me on what has been an inspirational conversation about her views on luxury. I'd like to thank you for listening, and I'd of course like to thank Henry's Townhouse for hosting us. And don't forget, you can listen to all episodes of the In Pursuit of Luxury podcast on your favourite listening platform. Please subscribe also to our YouTube channel and, of course, to the podcast. And at In Pursuit of Luxury, we have many other things going on. We have our executive training, which happens in London and in Zurich. We have Luxury Studies, the In Pursuit of Luxury journal, which is published quarterly. And of course, we have the In Pursuit of Luxury conference, which is a collaboration between Goldsmiths University and Ravensbourne University and will take place in September 2026. See you next time.